Delivering a presentation to camera can come in two different contexts, live and recorded. Both come with advantages and disadvantages. The main difference between the two is that when it's live, you only have one shot at expressing yourself the way that you intended. When it's recorded, however, you have the advantage of being able to do several takes. Then, during the editing process, you can choose, delete, and rearrange the parts according to the objectives of the video. So in essence, there is more flexibility with the recording because it isn't the end of the world if you happen to make a mistake. A disadvantage, though, is that it can take considerably longer. It is important to note that a recording leaves a lasting impression. Therefore, it is important that your image is well prepared. A camera really picks up the slightest imperfections, so it is highly important that you take care of your image. Therefore, your clothes should be suitable and clean. Your hair should be well washed and well combed. It is advised for both men and women to wear a small amount of makeup to avoid shininess and to have a matte complexion. Concerning clothes more specifically, avoid clothes with strong patterns or stripes, as they can be distracting and have an unpleasant effect on camera. Avoid colors such as white that can reflect or black that can seem dull. Colors that look good on screen are blue, green, and gray, preferably light and soft tones. The difference between speaking to a camera and speaking to an audience is that you are essentially speaking to an object. You don't have the same interaction as you do with an audience, as you cannot produce an emotional connection and work with the audience's energy. You might be talking to an object, but in the end, however, it is an individual who will be watching your video and learning from you. In order to help you, try to imagine that you have a small group of 4 or 6 friends in front of you and try to transmit your message in a more intimate way. Naturally, you'll speak more enthusiastically and more passionately. Another important point to note is that the camera tends to flatten out the energy that you put across when speaking. You might find that you have been smiling excessively and giving an enormous amount of energy, but once you watch it back, it seems completely flat. Keep your energy up and smile constantly. Imagine a larger group of friends that you are trying to motivate and convince that your text is the best text they've ever heard. People who are not used to presenting on camera tend to come across as robotic, so it is important that you speak naturally. Try not to learn your text by heart. It might be more reassuring for you, but it gives the impression that you are reciting a text. It can sound monotonous and scholarly. Vary your tone and pronounce certain words louder as if you can see them written in bold text. An example of this is, "Good morning. We're here today to explain why you should take this class on public speaking. It's informative, creative, and exactly what you need." Of course, you could have the option of a teleprompter. A prompter has its advantages and disadvantages. The advantage being that you have your text in front of you, which is of course more reassuring. The disadvantage is that you read it too closely and it can lack authenticity. It is preferable to have a more conversational tone instead of a didactic one. A factor that many forget is the fatigue that is associated with filming. One small take can take hours to film over and over again. You mustn't let it become obvious that you are tired. Keep your energy levels up. Remember to get a good night's sleep before a filming day and really treat it as if you're an athlete before a huge competition. As with all types of presentations, there is the risk of the unforeseeable. Noise or even broken equipment can derail a filming day. Accept it and take control. You might have to postpone, but try and reschedule as quickly as possible in order to keep everybody's morale and motivation up. Now, let's move on to another style of presentation, the in-house presentation or meeting.